some very special music.
Oh, yeah, yeah, the songs of freedom,
The great Annie Lennox, singer and activist, pays tribute to Nelson Mandela as London prepares to celebrate the 90th birthday of a man who reminds us during a dreadful week in Zimbabwe that Africa can offer hope. Now then, on Friday, London's Hyde Park is going to host an extraordinary concert, bringing together some of the world's best-known musicians to celebrate the 90th birthday of Nelson Mandela. And it's going to be exactly 20 years since a similar event was held to call for his release from jail in South Africa. He was freed shortly afterwards. Since stepping down as president, Nelson Mandela has devoted himself to the fight against HIV/AIDS. And the singer Annie Lennox is a long-standing supporter of his AIDS charity, and she's going to be performing on Friday, and she joins me now. Welcome. Thank you for coming in. Let's talk about the AIDS work that you've been doing and Nelson Mandela's been doing, because this has been a sort of horrendous plague across the southern half of the African continent now for a very long time. You've been out there a lot, you've been back and forth a lot, you've been raising money a lot. People sometimes in this country and in the West generally believe there's nothing that can really be done. You know, it's sort of bleeding heart singers, it's, you know, you can raise a bit of money, you can help at the edges. Is there any proper grounds for hope?
Well, yes. I mean, it does often look like a despairing situation because it is so overwhelmingly affecting millions of people. And I don't really think there's a simple solution. There's not a magic wand that you can wave because it's extremely complex. But if you look at it in terms of when people do get access to treatment, that their lives can be extended. If a pregnant woman does get access to treatment with her baby, perhaps it's very possible that the virus doesn't have to be transmitted to that baby before it's even born. And there are lots of possible things that can be done. But of course it's dependent on the will and leadership of the government and the intention of whole nations to make changes. And when you have systems where the whole medical systems are buckled on their knees, you know, and you have tremendous lack, of course with poverty, unemployment, all the issues that come with these difficult, complex additions to the situation itself, it is very complex, but things can be done and are being done actually.
We've actually got a little clip, piece of footage of you going to South Africa and meeting a young child with HIV.
Yes.
This is interesting. We'll just watch this for a second.
Thank you.
July of last year, I met 7-year-old Avilile in South Africa, and this is what she looked like. A few months later, I went back to South Africa, and I desperately hoped I would see Avilile again. This is what we found.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
So the drugs do work?
The drugs work. The drugs do work. And actually, I was reading the data report last night, and there have been differences made. I think people do need to know that. For example, 26 million children have been immunised between the years 2001 to 2006. I mean, that is a significant figure. And, for example, 59 million bed nets have been delivered last year to Africa, which means that there will be protection against malaria. So with the will and with the push, it is possible to make huge changes. The solutions are not so simple. That is really the core.
We were talking about Nelson Mandela during the paper review, a great moral titan around the world. With this hideous, hideous thing that's going on in Zimbabwe, wouldn't it be wonderful if you could say something? I
agree. I think that people always listen to Mandela because he does have that moral authority, and let's wait and see. Let's wait and see.
This may well be his final public appearance, in fact.
Yes, I mean, it's, you know, for a man in his approaching now, it'll be his 90th birthday. He's done more than anyone else in a whole lifetime, really. That is the extraordinary thing about Mandela, is that he devoted his whole life to the fight of justice and human rights. And those kind of people are very thin on the ground. So when Mandela steps back from his stately role, there are so few people to fill his shoes, you know.
I must ask you one music question. The new album's been going well. I mean, are you in a sort of a new groove as a performer? Is your mojo working, Ms. Lennox?
I hope my mojo is still working. I love music, and it's something that I'll always be part of, and I continue to do. I try to do the two things. I try to fuse the music that I make and the platform that I have with a message, which is, I think, most artists, especially in times where there are so many things need to be addressed outside of, the narrow constrictions of government messages, where we can, there's activism, and there's a great many millions of people around the world who are involved with trying to make change outside of the narrow government view.
We all need a bit of redemption, which is what we're going to be hearing from you in a moment. But for now, before that, over to Sonia for the news headlines.
Thank you, Andrew. Gordon Brown.
That's a face I remember. Now then, Annie Lennox is still with me. Alan Duncan, Martina Navratilova have rejoined us as well. Welcome back, all of you.
Thank you.
Martina, are you an Annie Lennox? Are you a music fan?
Well, who isn't an Annie Lennox fan? I believe that love alone can do these things for you. Yes, indeed.
Thank you. That's a big compliment indeed coming from you, really.
17 years ago, when I was facing an interview to be picked as a parliamentary candidate, one of the questions I got to test my street cred, so, Mr. Duncan, do you know who Annie Lennox is? That was,
and did you?
Phew, yes.
Oh, that's a relief.
Close run thing.
Annie, you're going to go off and prepare in just a second. Just tell us a little bit. This is one of Bob Marley's last ever songs, wasn't it?
It's this incredible anthem, and I think really music is so powerful, and it carries these wonderful messages, and it spreads the word to everyone. And I'm just going to play Redemption Song in a minute on the piano, and hopefully I'll do it some justice.
Yeah. OK, well, we'll look forward to that. I'll let you go and get ready for that. Okay. Well, one of the things we could talk about is the whole civil partnership. You've been through a civil partnership thing.
End of next month.
End of next month. Her version of the great Bob Marley, Redemption Song.
Oh, pirates, yes, they're robber, sold out to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took her from the bottomless pit. But my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation, triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Think no fear of atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long will they kill our prophets while we stand aside and do? Some say we're just a part of it. We got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, these songs of freedom, redemption songs.